Welcome back to the Deep Duck. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something really fascinating, kind of an unspoken game happening behind the scenes in the NFL. It's really about control, about power, and it feels like, like it keeps repeating itself. Yeah, so today our deep dive zeroes in on that whole situation with Lamar Jackson's contract back in 2023. It was pretty curious. And now, how that whole saga seems to be casting this I don't know, almost eerie shadow over what might be developing with Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns looking ahead to 2025. So our mission here is really take you through the source material we've got is titled Lamar Jackson's Collusion Saga Foreshadows the NFL's Shedeur Sanders Controversy with the Cleveland Browns. Think of this as, your shortcut. We want to pull out the essential nuggets so you can understand this really complex but influential part of pro football, help you see the game within the game.
Exactly. And as we dug into this, what really stood out is, okay, the names are different, the years are different, but the essence of both cases, it points to something bigger. It really seems to be about how NFL owners use this kind of quiet influence, this subtle power to shape the QB landscape, to, keep control. Understanding that pattern, that's really key to getting what's happening in the league beyond just the Sunday scores.
Okay, so let's start with that Lamar Jackson precedent then. It really felt like the league was, I don't know, moving in lockstep back then. Just remind everyone, 2023 Lamar Jackson, his resume was just incredible, right?
Yeah.
Unanimous NFL MVP, Pro Bowls, shattered rushing records for a QB, and his win percentage, better than most quarterbacks of his generation. I mean, hard to argue with the performance. But despite all that, when it came contract time, he was just oddly undervalued, especially on the open market. He had that non-exclusive franchise tag, which meant basically any team could assign him. All they needed was more guaranteed money and 2 first-round picks.
Right. Which, for a player of his caliber, seems like a potential bargain, doesn't it? You'd think teams needing a QB would be lining up.
You would think.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened at all.
No. What happened was, silence. Deafening silence. You had teams that were clearly desperate for a quarterback. Think about the Falcons, the Commanders, the Raiders back then. They came out almost immediately and said, nope, not interested. It wasn't just one or two teams. It was this really baffling chorus. Like, it was coordinated somehow.
Coordinated disinterest. That's a good way to put it. It just didn't add up competitively.
Exactly. And that leads to the suspicion, the one our source material really digs into. Collusion.
Okay, but not like secret meetings and memos, right?
No, probably not. Not that kind of smoking gun evidence. It's described as something subtler, maybe more dangerous. An unspoken agreement, a gentleman's agreement among owners. The fear seemed to be about those huge, fully guaranteed contracts, like the one Deshaun Watson got.
Ah, the Watson deal. That looms large here.
It does. Owners apparently did not want that becoming the new standard, especially not for all quarterbacks. And the analysis points specifically to concern about black quarterbacks who also happen to have really strong personal brands, like Lamar Jackson. Elevating their power was seen as a risk.
Right. And those echoes, that silence around Lamar, it makes the Shedeur Sanders situation feel, quite unsettling as we look towards 2025. Because here comes Shedeur Sanders, obviously son of Deion Sanders, NFL legend. But Shedeur himself, he's already built a brand that's arguably bigger than many current NFL players, and he hasn't even taken a pro snap yet.
He's definitely got magnetism.
Totally. And the quality are there on or off the field. He's charismatic, super media savvy, unapologetically confident, proven leader in college, apparently a total film junkie, that dual threat ability. He really did shatter expectations at Colorado. Looks like the real deal.
And now, connect him to the Cleveland Browns, a team that, let's be honest, has had a really tough time finding consistent QB play for decades. Even after the whole controversial Deshaun Watson acquisition, they're still searching for that long-term stability, that answer at quarterback.
Okay, so Shedeur seems like a potential answer, right?
Yeah.
Especially if he performs well in preseason.
You'd think so. But here's the twist the source material highlights. Despite reports of, standout preseason showings, the rumors are that the Browns are actually planning to bench him, or at least significantly delay his debut.
Seriously. After all the hype and potential.
If the reports are accurate, yes. And that's precisely where those echoes of Lamar Jackson just get louder and louder. It feels familiar.
So what's the thread here? What really connects Lamar in 2023 with Shedeur potentially in 2025? It feels like we need to step back and look at the bigger picture.
I think you have to.
The NFL is a business, right? Power and image matter immensely. And the quarterback. They're the face, the leader, the brand ambassador.
Absolutely. And a QB with a huge brand, real leverage, maybe someone who doesn't quite fit the traditional mold that can shift the power dynamics. between owners and players, even with the fans.
And maybe that's a shift some owners just aren't comfortable with.
That's exactly what the analysis suggests. Let's connect the dots based on the source. 3 key patterns seem to emerge. First, you see signs of market manipulation, teams seemingly not acting in their own best competitive interests.
Like passing on Lamar. Or
Yeah.
maybe benching a talent like Shedeur.
Precisely. It looks like trying to maintain let's call it a safer, less disruptive status quo, keep things predictable. Second pattern, brand control. Shedeur's different. He comes in with this massive social media presence, big NIL money from college. He has leverage before day one.
He's not the humble rookie just happy to be here type.
Not at all. And like Lamar, he doesn't really fit that old mold of the quiet, system-dependent QB, that independence. It seems to make owners nervous. And the third piece is this idea of an unwritten rulebook. There doesn't need to be a formal memo.
Right. It's more like a culture.
Yeah, a culture of compliance among owners. Precedent matters. Peer pressure matters. What other owners are doing or not doing sends a message. Lamar didn't get the offers. Shedeur might not get the starting job right away. The implied message feels like step out of line, challenge the structure, and we can freeze you out.
Okay, this brings us right to the Browns. Why are they so central to this specific story playing out now?
Well, you have to remember, they were the team that broke the mold.
Right, with the Watson contract.
Yeah.
Fully guaranteed $230 million.
Exactly. They basically shattered that invisible rule among owners about guaranteed money at the top end.
And the other owners weren't happy about that, I imagine.
Reportedly, they were furious because that deal immediately sent a signal to every other elite QB and their agents. This is possible now. Go demand it. And we saw players try, right? Lamar certainly did. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Their negotiations were definitely influenced by that precedent.
So the Browns kind of created this problem for the other owners.
In a way, yes. And now, ironically, they have Shedeur. A chance to maybe turn the page, find their future franchise guy. But as we said, there's this growing belief, this buzz, that the team is feeling pressure. Pressure to maybe not unleash him immediately.
Pressure from who? Other owners. The league.
The source suggests it's about protecting the existing power structures,
Right.
about keeping the number of these elite market-disrupting quarterbacks, well, manageable, limited.
Why? What's the economic logic there?
Think about it. The more truly elite QBs there are, playing at a high level, the harder it is to sell fans on just average QB play.
Right. It raises the bar for everyone.
It does. And it makes it tougher for owners to justify those big, but maybe not top-tier contracts for mid-level guys. And fundamentally, it shifts power. More power to the players, less leverage for management.
Okay, we have to address something the source brings up directly.
Mm-hmm.
Both Lamar Jackson and Shedeur Sanders are black quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
How much does race factor into this, according to the analysis?
It's presented as a crucial factor, something you can't ignore in this context.
So.
Well, historically speaking, and the source points this out, black QBs have often faced more scrutiny, a shorter leash, having to prove themselves maybe more intensely than white counterparts. It's a documented pattern in the league's history.
And how does that apply specifically to Lamar and Shedeur?
The analysis suggests that both players project a certain kind of confidence, a self-assuredness. Shedeur, like Lamar, isn't asking for permission to be great.
He walks in like he owns the place, as they say.
Exactly. He markets himself,
Mm-hmm.
he advocates for his value, and that kind of, swagger, for lack of a better word, can make some people in traditional power structures uncomfortable. It directly challenges that old school team first, stay in your lane, be seen, not heard narrative that many owners and executives apparently still prefer, especially from their quarterbacks.
Okay, let's pull back again to the economics. This idea that owners want to control the supply of elite QBs. What's the thinking there?
It really boils down to some basic economic principles like supply and demand. If you have more truly elite quarterbacks available and thriving, say Shedeur joins Lamar, Caleb Williams, maybe others, then teams simply have less power to dictate contract terms.
Because teams needing a QB have more high-level options.
Precisely. Why would you massively overpay for, say, a Daniel Jones or a Derek Carr if there are potentially game-changing talents available or demanding top dollar? It just weakens the owner's negotiating leverage across the board.
Interesting.
What else? There's also the fan element. Star quarterbacks, especially ones like Shedeur with huge existing platforms, they empower the fans.
How do you mean?
If Shedeur becomes this cultural phenomenon in Cleveland, the fans will demand he plays. They'll demand he leads. Their voice gets louder, potentially overriding what ownership might prefer behind closed doors. It shifts control.
And maybe union strength, too.
Definitely. Powerful, high-profile quarterbacks fuel union strength. They have influence in CBA negotiations, they can push social justice initiatives, they might even sway coaching decisions. Look, at the end of the day, what many owners seem to crave is predictability, stability in their business model. And players like Lamar Jackson, players like Shedeur Sanders, they represent unpredictability. They change the market, they challenge norms, and that makes the league harder to control from the top down.
Okay, so if these rumors about the Browns wanting to bench Shedeur or delay things are true, what should Shedeur's camp do? Does the analysis offer any, strategic advice?
It does lay out a potential playbook based on the situation. Three main things. First, control the narrative. They absolutely have to use Shedeur's existing media platform, show the work ethic, the film study, the leadership. Don't let others define him.
Okay, proactive messaging. Makes sense.
Second, call out the injustice, but do it tactfully. Frame it around performance. If he's balling out and earns the job, say so, loudly. And if he is benched without a clear football reason, question the logic publicly. Make it about fairness and competition.
So don't be afraid to speak up, but keep it focused on the field.
Right. And finally, maybe most importantly, leverage public support. Cleveland fans are desperate for a winner, for a new direction. If Shedeur connects with that fan base, becomes the people's choice. It puts immense pressure on ownership. It becomes very hard to keep him on the bench without serious backlash.
Use the fans as leverage. That's smart.
So, wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway from this deep dive? I think the most powerful finding is that the NFL continues to show these really strong signs of having an unofficial quarterback gatekeeping system. It's not written down, but the pattern seems clear.
And the characteristics of that system, based on our source,
Yeah.
it seems designed to limit the number of these truly market-altering QBs, right?
Exactly. Limit the stars.
Protect the owner's leverage in negotiations.
Keep control of the money.
Suppress narratives driven by the players themselves.
Control the message.
And ultimately prioritize conformity, maybe predictability, over charisma and disruptive talent.
That sums it up well.
So a final thought to leave our listeners with. This whole Shedeur Sanders Cleveland Browns situation, if it plays out like the rumors suggest, it might have a new name on it, but the design feels very, very old.
That's the core issue, isn't it? The source ends with a really powerful statement on this. It says, essentially, until this pattern is called out, until it's corrected, the NFL seems poised to continue treating top quarterback talent not as this amazing gift to be nurtured,
but as a threat to be contained.
Exactly, a threat to contain. So, keep watching, keep paying attention.
Right.
It's the real game, the game within the game. It's often played far away from the field, but it shapes everything we see on Sundays.